Watch the Story YouTube. This is Heritage, and this is my Angel Has Fallen review. Yeah, like Godzilla and X-Men Dark Phoenix, we've got this 3 days ahead of the States, so I'm just out of it now and just give you an initial idea of what I think of it. As per usual, the first part of this is just going to be spoiler-free. Once you see the picture change, you'll know I'm into the spoiler section, so if you just want to listen till then, once you see the picture change, that's when you stop reading. So, okay, this is the third outing for Gerard Butler's Mike Banning character, and the third part of the Fallen series. Starting off with Olympus Has Fallen, then with London Has Fallen, and now this one, Angel Has Fallen. Have to admit, I found them a bit of a mixed bag because I loved Olympus Has Fallen. I thought it was the far superior White House invasion film, because the one that was out that year as well was White House Down with Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum, I think. But even though it was the cheaper one, it just had a hell of a lot more fun about it and a lot more energy. I mean, any film where you've got basically somebody taking out a terrorist with a bust of an ex-president is, something that's doing something right. And they portrayed Banning as a family man and a man of honour and, Secret Service integrity and, a tough, hard as steel military man. And it was very enjoyable. But when London Is Fallen come out, I have to admit I didn't like that one as much because although there was some great sequences in it, still an awful lot of ropey CGI, but that's part of the cost for these films. But I just think that in that one they portrayed his character as cruel, kind of needlessly cruel in places, and I think they really ruined him as a hero. I have no problem with dark anti-hero type characters who do, violent things, but in that film, he kind of been ruined as a hero, and you do need to be heroic in the end. And I just thought that they kind of ruined him over. So in this film, I'm pleased to say that they address all that in the sense that they actually show him as a family man again, as the effects of his career has had on him. There's about 20 minutes at the beginning, which is fairly slow. That might be a bit of a downer for people. I remember when I was watching it actually thinking, God, this might need to take up a bit, because I wasn't quite sure at this stage where I liked it or not. But it was necessary because it showed you the effect that all the combat that he's faced has had on him. So he's suffering from migraines. He's like one step away from having a fractured neck. He's dizzy. He's losing, he's suffering from insomnia and a whole host of things like that. And he has a young child now with the wife, and they do a good bit to, really portray him more sympathetically. So I think they managed to erase an awful lot of the egregious stuff that was in London Has Fallen. And then, like I said, the action kicks off, and it's very good. Like, it's really entertaining. The drone strike that you've seen in the trailers, that was very well done. There's some interesting direction in this. It's got a bit of shaky cam, so if you don't like shaky cam, that might annoy you. But it's all in all, it's competently directed. It's not spectacularly directed. You're not going to sit here and think, whoa, this was fantastic stuff. But it's done enough to get to the point across to tell the story. There's a nice bit of tension in it. There's some lovely cinematic pieces. I remember thinking there's actually bits in this that look really lovely, like the bit when he's in the forest when he's going out to see his dad, and the bit where the attack was underwater, but yeah, the main good to this one is that he's basically framed, for killing the president, and now that's why it's called Angel Has Fallen. He's considered to be his guardian angel, and he has basically turned on him. So it's all about him clearing his name, finding out who did it, and it's really enjoyable. I got to be honest with you, you'll see the baddie coming a mile off. At least I did, mainly because the guy that does it, I think it's Houston is his last name, Jack Houston maybe. I'm not 100%. I only caught it grieving on the credits when I was leaving, but he tends to pay baddies, so when you see him in this you go, yep, that's the bad guy. But yeah, Gerard Butler is he's a great actor. You got to give it to him credit. He does really intense films like Law Abiding Citizen, and then he just does this stuff which is basically Die Hard, and it's really enjoyable. So I give it a 7.5 out of 10. If you want to go see it, like I said, 2 out of 3 of those films now are great. It's the best way of putting it. Olympus Has Fallen was great, good fun. London Has Fallen had some great sequences in it. Like I said, I didn't like what they did with his character. This one, they redeem him a lot. He's a lot more likable. He's a lot more, sympathetic, and it ties him. And we'll say as well, there's a nice bit of in-universe continuity. Like in Olympus Has Fallen, Morgan Freeman's character is the Secretary of State, and I'm pretty sure when Aaron Eckhart is compromised as the president, he becomes the leader temporarily. He becomes the president temporarily. I don't know if he's sworn in, I can't remember that. But he is now, Alan Turnbull is that character. He's now the president. So I think you can say there's probably about 6 years between one film and this one. It's never explicitly stated, but that it seems to be. So yeah, I've got to give him credit for, at least using the same characters. So yeah, if I just said, if you like Olympus Has Fallen, you'll like this. It's like I said, a bit slow to start, but once it gets going, it's great crack. There's some wonderful, combat in it. The ending is brilliant. I'd say stick around for the mid section credits sequence with Gerard Butler and Nick Nolte. That was hilarious. I was just in tears laughing. So just stick around for that. But yeah, 7.5 out of 10. I'll give that. Very enjoyable and good action chomper. Right, now this is the spoiler section. So spoilers from now on. If you don't want to hear anything that ruined the film for you, this is the point to turn off. Like I said, Angel Has Fallen basically takes up, like I said earlier, I think about 6 years after the original film. I mean, that's if Aaron Eckhart's character got re-elected. Morgan Freeman's character, Alan Trumbull, is now the president. And being a security guard, being the Secret Service agent, sorry about that, has it's really taken a toll on him. He's like I said, I think they're talking about the vertebrae in his back is this close to a spinal incident. He's suffering from massive, the amount of concussions he's got over the years. He's popping drugs, just to keep the pain at bay. He's getting dizzy spells. He's suffering from insomnia. He's really been ground down. And it's at this stage, the president is going to offer him the job as head of the Secret Service, which is a desk job, that. He's in two minds about it because he knows he can't do what he's doing for much longer because he just basically one big skirmish and he could die. That's basically not from actually anything being shot or anything, but just simply from the trauma of overdoing himself. So he's seriously tempted to take the job, and it's more money, it's more security. Like I said, he has the kid now, the wife, and he misses the action, and this is when he's introduced to his friend, which is Wade Jennings. Wade Jennings is a pal of his that he used to serve back in the day, about I think 5-6 years ago, something like that. And he has his own private military business, Salient Industries, I think, or something like that's what it's called. And he basically has, the opening sequence of this is, you think it's him being hunted down by people, but it's actually him trying out his friend's estate, which is, can be configured to do any sort of combat scenario so that you can train people in order for hot war situations. And they end up just sitting in the backyard having a couple of beers, talking about stuff like that. And I think he's actually interested in the job too of being Secretary of the Secret Service, but he seems to be gunning more for military contracts, so he's hoping that Mike will put a word in for him with the president. Like I said, this section at the beginning is the slowest, and it's only about 20 minutes long. It's not that long at all. The whole film is about 2 hours, so it's not a bum number. You're not, it gets in, gets the job done, you get out. And it's at this stage then, like you said, you go fishing with the president, and this is where the drone strike happens, as you've seen in trailers. And that's spectacular. It really is done well. I mean, there's plenty of shots where you see kind of people get blown into the air and stuff all around the floor, and it culminates in Mike having to save the president, but they end up going underwater. But the explosions from the drones, because the drones are kind of like suicide drones, they just fly straight in and explode, and that's how they take out people. So when they hit the top of the water, the concussion force from them, it knocks out Mike and it puts the president into a coma. And this is how Mike doesn't end up getting his name cleared for, the vast majority of the film. The FBI find the van that the drones were launched from, and in that van, there's traces of his DNA. There's hair follicles, there's skin cells and all that. So it really looks like he set it up. And in fairness, they actually show you how the people who were behind all this get those samples off him later on, which I actually thought was quite cute. But so he ends up going on the run, as all the evidence, points to him being the guy who is behind this. And this is when he runs into his father. He decides that the best place to go is to stay out with his dad, who's played by Nick Nolte. Now, Nick Nolte has gone a bit off the rails in the last couple of years, so you're never quite sure what kind of performance you're going to get out of him. I'm pleased to say this, he's fantastic. I absolutely love this whole thing. He basically plays an ex-tunnel rat from Vietnam. And he abandoned Mike when he was a kid, and Mike kind of holds a grudge against it, but in fairness to him, he does kind of explain that the reason he went was that he was so messed up in the head from what happened over in Nam, and what he came back, the man he came back as. He says he would have been much worse as a father if he'd have stuck around. He'd have ended up being abusive or violent to him or something like that, and he reasoned that he'd be better off on his own. He's kind of a conspiratorial nut, kind of a redneck, loner, the guy that lives in the cabin in the woods type of thing. You know, the guy who thinks that the man is after him, you know, like, and it's really funny to see the scenes between him when, he, like I said, Mike's just staying out with him, and the guys from, who were behind all this start to come after him. They attack the cottage that his dad is. As it turned out, his dad has basically wired the entire mountains for explosives. So, I mean, Mike thinks he's, you know, going to be protecting his dad, you know, like, but it turns out that, like, he pretty much saves him as he blows the bejesus out of the attacking force of about 15 men that were coming after him. And then they end up going on the run afterwards. But that whole sequence, I was just grinning. I just really loved that. I had me laughing out loud. Like, it was just glad to see this old codger basically take out an elite combat team. And this is when we find out that the villains of the piece, you know, like who actually set him up, was basically Salient. It's basically his mate, Wade Jennings. And he wants to get, like I said, the contracts for the privatization of the military. And see, what basically happened is that their government is blaming, well, the vice president is blaming Russia on this, because Mike has apparently got 10 million in an offshore account, and there's all this stuff left on the dark web that's implicating him. That, you know, this is the setup basically, and this is how like it's high power people like the vice president that are behind it, and he needed to take out the president in order to take over. And he's assured Wade that he's going to give him the contracts to, you know, for when they need to go into hot war situation with Russia. So the guys who were attacking the cottage were Salient operatives. And, you know, when he pulls off their mats, he sees that, you know, from an attack. He ends up stacking all their bodies at the cottage when the FBI actually get there to track him down. And that's why he wrote on, you know, these guys work for Salient. And that's what put the FBI onto the track of the real villains. It's at this stage that the president wakes up, and he finds out that, you know, they're very nearly going to be declaring war on Russia, you know, for an attack on him. And he tries to get the vice president, but he's, you know, AWOL, he can't find him. And this is when Mike realizes that they're going to try and hit him again. You know, like, so he tried to get back into the hospital where the president is, and allows himself to get captured in order to see the president, you know, like by the current head of the Secret Service. You know, and this is the whole exposition part. This is where he finds out what happens. And, you know, basically it kicks into, you know, protecting the president again, like the original film, Olympus Has Fallen. The action at this part is really good, I have to be honest with you, and I really enjoyed the combat in it now. Like I said, they evac the president to another building. The hospital he's in gets destroyed, you know, like, because they were using, I think, to do the oxygen and the nitrogen canisters down in the basement. They just basically managed to override them with a hack. But at this stage, it turns into basically mano a mano, where Mike is going after Wade. You know, well, Wade's after him. You know, like, and they end up on a rooftop showdown between themselves, which is actually, for some reason, kept me thinking of Metal Gear Solid. I don't know why, but I just kept thinking this is exactly what, you know, Solid Snake would do. And the two of them have it out, and it's a great fight scene. You know, like, and as per usual, our guy wins, but he is in rag order. You know, like there's a scene like where he gets shot near the head and it deafens him. You know, like it's actually done quite well the way they directed it. You know, like, and from then on, you can kind of hear that he's been run down. So, like I said, it's a good finale. They end up getting down. Mike ends up handing in his resignation to the president. You know, because he should have told him, he said, about the difficulties he was having with the sleep and the medical conditions and all the doctors he's been going to, you know, like, but, you know, there's a kind of a wonderful father-son type relationship going on with Morgan Freeman's character, Alan, and Mike, and he basically convinced him to take the job as the new head of the Secret Service. But, and, you know, and a nice nod to the last guy, you know, the last job he gets is, and I'm pretty sure he's the guy who plays the concierge from John Wick, but I'm not 100% on that now. But the last job he has is to arrest the vice president, and he gets taken away. That was pretty funny to see. And like I said, it then ends with, you know, Mike being, you know, the new head, and everyone lives happily ever after, basically. You know, even though he has his dad, Nick Nolte's character, back at the house. And I don't think he's going to stay with him. He said he's going to be a lot more present in his life. You know, like, and like I said, this is the stage, you know, and that's just like where it all ends. There's a mid-credit scene, which I think is hilarious, as I mentioned it earlier on in the non-spoiler review, where basically they end up going to a Danish spa, a wellness spa, you know, like, where it's all about this, you know, zero gravity floating in water and all this, you know, hippie music playing and stuff like that. And it's just to see these two, you know, war horses basically in that juxtaposed against that, you know, hippie environment. It's just hilarious the way that ends. You know, like, so stick around for that. You will get a laugh out of it. But yeah, that's my review of Angel Has Fallen. I really liked it. Like I said earlier on, I didn't like what they did with his character in London Has Fallen. I thought it made him cruel. I thought it made him petty and not relatable. You know, like totally different to what he was in Olympus Has Fallen. And they've completely done a 180 again here in Angel Has Fallen. They make him relatable, they make him likable. You know, like you want him to win, you're rooting for him. And it's just a really enjoyable experience. So I give that, like I said, 7.5 out of 10. You know, these are just popcorn chomping films, action films. That's what they are. They're just there. You go in, 2 hours, you're out. You know, like, I don't know if I get it on DVD or anything, but it's definitely worth seeing in the cinema. I got a great laugh out of it. You will laugh in places. The action is great. Like I said, that drone strike thing is really innovative. You know, like I'm sure there's a lot of people thinking, "Jeez, somebody might try that one day." But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I can't recommend it enough. So definitely go check it out. So Angel Has Fallen, there you go, 7.5 out of 10. If you like this review, like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about it. It should be out in the States in 2 days' time, I think the 23rd. And, you know, like, let me know if you think it stacks up with the other two. Okay, take care, guys.